What is going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. My name is Alex and welcome back to the Puck Luck channel. Today we're taking a look at the Hockey Legacy Manager 23. Is this the EA franchise mode killer? Let's take a look. So I was on Reddit and I was just scrolling through different communities, and I was obviously on hockey communities, and this showed up as one, and this app is actually unbelievable for what it is. So it's an iOS and Android app, and it's free to download. There is a pro feature, which I will talk about, but it is free to download if you'd like to try it out. So we're here in the app. It's a pretty intuitive menu. The one thing I want to point out immediately is the pro mode. And I am not affiliated or sponsored by this developer or company, whatever you want to call it, by any means. I am not. No, I literally just started playing this app like hours ago. All right, so the pro mode has everything. You've got unlimited seasons, history mode, battle royale, expansion, fantasy drafts, community rosters, roster editors, and a bunch of other things. And it's only $6 Canadian. It's not that bad in my opinion. I know it's a little steep for an in-app purchase, but considering the price you pay for NHL on Xbox or PS5, this is, well, significantly more reasonable. But again, it is only a franchise mode app. So this is for those franchise enthusiasts if you're interested. All right. So once you've bought the pro mode, you can go to rosters and you can go to community rosters. Now, you have a lot of options. You've got all these custom rosters that people have decided on, and the one we're going to focus on here is this one here. It's an amazing roster. It has everything going for it. When you click on a roster, it tells you the size and the date it was uploaded and how many downloads it has. It tells you the features in it. So this one has 294 custom coaches, has 1,700 custom players, 57 custom rookies, has 549 teams, has 31,000 stats. So basically, any player you click on, they'll have a stat on it, which means, retired players will have their previous stats. And then you've got 2,263 faces, which is basically just, faces for each profile, which is great. So that's what you can do once you've got the pro mode, and once you're ready, you can jump into a game. So I'm going to load into a save file real quick, and we're going to go ahead and see what the menus look like. All right, so once you're in the main menu, you've got a lot of really great options. So you've got your Sim to Next Preseason Game button, which will be the button that you'll advance through the dates that you'll use pretty often. Then you've got your injuries. Then you've got your player leaders, which is your statistics for your team. Then you've got standings for your division. And then you've got your team information. So Montreal's 0-0-1 for me right now. They have $8 million in cap space with 43 contracts signed. They're a pretender, which is a pre-contender, which means they're not even a contender for the playoffs yet. They're much below that. Their average age is 25.7 at the moment. It will change because, well, I'll show you why they're 25.7. So the lineup area is really great because it has all these options that I love. Caulfield, our custom player, by the way, that's who's in the center. I talked about him in my last video. Our custom player and Nick Suzuki are on the first line. They are really great together because they have a green. So the chemistry is an important thing in this as well. And I think it works, honestly, a lot better than it does in EA's game, just in my opinion. Same thing for the defense, similar. You got to make sure you got the right guys on your team and ready to go. You've got your goalies. And then a great thing about the goalies is you can rotate them a certain amount. So if you want your starting goalie to play 50% of the games, you put the slider over here. If you want him playing all the games, you can put it all the way up there. So it's a great little addition that is just fantastic. So the next thing I really like about this is the ability to lock players in place. So as you can see, Caulfield, our custom player, and Suzuki are all locked in on the first line. What that means is when a player gets injured, like Dadonov gets injured on the second line, he's out for 5 games. When I hit best lines, it won't force players to move, and it will just leave the players that I want on the top line. Or if I want Caulfield to be stuck on the left wing always, no matter what, he will be stuck on the left wing of a certain line, regardless of who gets injured. And I love that because I don't have to go back and fix it later. I know who's where, and we're good to go. Like if I know that Dvorak is going to be my second line player, he will be stuck there, which I love. So some other really nice additions is the ability just to see the potential and the contracts and the stats straight from the menu. It looks great this way. I love it. You just don't have to like jump through menus to see these little details. Let's say you want to make a line with like your highest scoring players. You can see it right from the lineup menu, which is just fantastic. I love it. Let's say you want to make a roster move. You've got many options here. You, in fact, not only can send them to the minors, you can also send them to the semi-pro league, aka the ECHL, and you can send them to Trois-Rivières, lions if you'd like, and you can actually bring some of them up if you'd like as well, which is just such a nice little thing that, again, EA doesn't let you do. They do it automatically behind the scenes. All right, so let's say you want to trade a player. We've rung up Caulfield and Zegras. Oh, that's interesting. Anaheim's not quite interested in giving up Zegras. Well, let's go ahead and give them a pick as well. Okay, let's give them, here we go. Let's give them our first. Okay, they can have our first overall pick. That's a risk for us. Wow, giving up Montreal's first pick. They're not a contender, so they're going to get a good pick here. But we can also do something that EA has not put in their game yet. Edit condition. Look at that. You could do high of, and then, so this means you do the higher of the 2023 first round pick and the higher and the 2023 first round pick of the Florida. So whichever's higher will go to the Anaheim Ducks. You could do lower of, which is pretty self-explanatory. You could do draft protected, which is top one. If our pick is number one overall, we will get it back, but we'll have to forfeit something else. Let's say we'll forfeit first overall Florida pick, or if we're top 10, we'll forfeit Florida pick. So we can protect our draft picks, which is something that EA still hasn't done, let alone fixed protected picks in their own game. So if you know what I'm talking about, yeah. We can also protect this, so if our team makes it to the first round, and then we have to give up another player. So you understand what I'm talking about. So when you're here in free agency, you can go ahead and click on a player. I don't know why Kirby Dach is under free agency for us, but, because he's expiring, that's why. So Kirby Dach is here. We want to sign him. He's looking for 1 year, 3.268. We can copy that, or we can give him less, or we can give him more. So let's say, okay, we're going to lowball him. He's still interested. Okay. So if we go too low, he'll say, I'm not too interested. But if we just get around that nice soft spot where it's not too expensive, but it's not too cheap, we'll send off the offer and see what he says in a few days. We can go take a look at the prospects as well. These are updated in the custom roster. So we've got Bedard over here, who we haven't done any scouting on yet, so we don't know too much about him, but he is obviously going to be a top prospect. And then we have a lot of other prospects you can look through as well. It goes deep. So we're here under staff, and it's pretty much very similar to EA, except they have the addition of medical, if the button will work. There we go. Medical has just a lot of options. Our top medical guy is Justin Williams. He's really good at recovering and preventing injuries. That's what you want from a guy. He even has an active little thing, which is called Mentor, which accelerates and develops a physio by 10%. That's pretty cool. Like, those are perks for medical guys. That's crazy. And that's just really cool. Like, we got Marc Bergevin here, who is the head scout. I don't know if that's Marc Bergevin, aka like the Marc Bergevin. If that is, that's pretty funny. So he's our head scout. And again, he has a perk. He has bus, increases the discovery of bus players by 5%. Or he's got a learner, which reduces the cost of specialties by 2.5%. So let's go ahead and sim. When you're in the sim mode and you've gotten into a game, you have options. You can start the sim, you can sim the entire game immediately, or you can change the options, which are the speed and the lines. You get a nice little preview of who's going to play. So you got Nick Suzuki, who's leading the Montreal Canadiens. You've got our custom player, who's leading the Canadiens in assists. And then you can see quickly where Montreal sits fourth in shots on goal. And then you have their goals per game, or goals for, their goals against, their power play unit, and all the information that you'd be looking for. Nice little details you can see at the bottom of the list. You can see when Tampa Bay plays Montreal next, which is November 13th. So it's just nice quality of life. You can also see the play-by-play and the player stats throughout the game. So let's start the sim here, and you'll see what it's like. So as it updates, you can kind of just see the nice little details. You've got stats over here that are updating as we're playing. Myers has an assist already because he just scored a goal, or got an assist, sorry, they scored a goal. Slavkovsky's a +1. Then you can go over here to the play-by-play, and it just updates as you go. We're starting the second period here. Face-off win, shot, save, all that stuff. It's just, little details that you can watch. And then as always, like I said, you can see all the information down here as well. Kidney, Paul, all that stuff. You can pause it if you'd like and go to options and switch the speed to 4 times if you'd like, or you can just continue the play. The one thing that hasn't worked for me so far is edit lines. When I go to edit lines and I switch a player, the game crashes. So I'm not going to do that for this video, but hopefully that will be fixed soon. All right, now let's say you just want to finish the game and call it a day. Montreal wins 5-2. Christian Dvorak scores 2 goals. He's the first star, sorry, and you got your other stars as well. You can see where, it's just everything you know and love about franchise mode is in this game so far, which is great. So let's say you exit and you're back to the main menu and you are now done with customizing your roster. Let's say you just want to go through the season, okay? We want to go all the way until the trade deadline, which is over here, the blue box. So we're going to go to the 28th of February, and I'll see you guys there. So here we've got our negotiation result. Kirby Doc accepted our 1 year 3.043 contract, so he has joined our team, and we're just going to let this game sim, and I'll stop it if there's anything interesting. So when you're simming through a certain period of time, you can see these statistics as you play. You can see the last 5 games for your team, the record of your team, the last 10 games. You can see the position of your team, who has the most goals, who has the most assists, and who has the most points on your team as you continue to go. So here's what a first overall pick looks like. Buffalo wants to give us M. Joseph for David Savard. Joseph's an 82 overall, Savard's an 80 overall, but Savard's contract is obviously worse, I'm assuming, because we have to give them a first round pick of 2024 to take on that contract, which is actually pretty cool because look at that. So I was right. Obviously, Savard's contract is worse than Joseph's contract. That's why we have to give them a first round pick to entice them to take the contract on. We're not going to do that because we really don't care. So now that we're at the trade deadline, is asking us if we want to go to the trade deadline. So we enter into a new mode. So in the new mode, you have at the top the most valued players who are on the trade block. So we've got Patrick Kane at 1 year, $10.5 million, Frederick Anderson, Max Pacioretty, Jonathan Toews, Matt Dumba, and so on and so forth. Then you can see them also on the bottom here. And then you can go even further and see what your surpluses are. So if you want to move Drouin or Gallagher or whatever. You can also see the most recent trades. They update live. So the trade deadline time can be updated if you want half an hour of real time or 10 minutes of real time. So you could change it to whatever you want before you get to the trade deadline. It can't be while you're in the trade deadline. And then you can go to the trade tab here and make whatever trade you want, or you can go check out the block of each team. You can update your own block and see what kind of trades you get. So after that ends, you pretty much just sim the rest of the season just like that. We're going to go to the very end. We're going to end our season and see where we ended. All right, so we've made it to the end of the season now. As you can see, the Canadiens obviously missed the playoffs by an absolute mile. We can take a look at our top players. Suzuki with 80 points. Our custom player was 78. Even at 99 overall, he didn't dominate the league by any means. So the one thing that's amazing about this app, this game, is that it has a lot of really great quality of life details that EA just does not have at all. And it sucks. It really sucks because this game just is proving that it just takes a bit of effort and they can do it. And EA is just like, no, we're not going to do it. All right, and the Stanley Cup champions are the Edmonton Oilers. You can see who they played to get there. They played against the Calgary Flames, beat them in 6, beat the Minnesota Wild in 6, beat the Winnipeg Jets in 6, and they beat the New York, I'm going to say it's the Rangers, in 7 to win the Stanley Cup. So once you're in the awards, you can take a look at who won what. So you got the Stanley Cup champions, you've got the Prince of Wales winners, and then you've got the Clarence S. Campbell Award, President's Trophy, World Cup champions, and World Juniors champions. And then it gets pretty fun. So we go to the Hart area. We don't know who got voted for the Hart. Let's reveal the finalists. We've got Austin Matthews. We've got Nikita Kucherov. And we have Nathan MacKinnon. All right. Now that we know who's been revealed as the nominees, we can take a look at their stats if we want, and then we can go reveal the winner. Who's going to win it? It's going to be Nathan MacKinnon, who had 93 points this season with 338 shots, 64 block shots, and a plus 39. He was pretty darn good. And it does the same thing for every single one. So Conn Smythe, who's going to win it? Who's nominated? Connor McDavid. Edmonton Oilers won the Stanley Cup. Leon Draisaitl. Wow, okay, all right. And Darnell Nurse. Obviously, it's probably going to be Connor McDavid. Had 33 points in 25 games. Let's take a look. Who's it going to be? Boom. Connor McDavid. So you do that for every single one. You can always just go ahead and hit reveal all at the top if you don't want to watch the animations. I think it's pretty fun. I'd watch all of them. They're pretty fun. You get to guess who is going to win what as you try to go through the finals here. All right, you also get an option to check out who retired, and it also shows you who played for your team and who is getting what. So it looks like these players are going to get retired numbers. Shea Weber's going to get a retired number. Corey Perry, Eric Stahl, and Ilya Kovalchuk are going to get retired numbers. And then you can take a look at who the skaters were, how many goals they had, how many points they had, and it's just really, really well organized. Also, staff who retired. And then reorientation is who is becoming what. So Craig Anderson is becoming a scout. Brian Boyle has become a coach if you'd like to hire him. Zdeno Chara is going to be a coach as well. And it's just a nice little quality of life details. I'll keep bringing that up. All right, and then you get to the draft lottery, which it predicts who is going to get what. So Buffalo should be getting the first overall, and Arizona should be getting the second overall. And this is where each team landed in terms of the season. Then you can do start draft, and I don't believe it does it automatically, but you just hit reveal pick, and it will just do each one by one. So far, the draft is being predicted correctly. No team has moved at all. Montreal gets the 11th pick, and then we keep on moving up here. Nobody has moved spots yet. Carolina, Vancouver, LA. Are we going to get a sorry? Ooh, Montreal's Florida pick has been bumped down a spot, so they're in 5th. San Jose has dropped down a spot as well. Arizona's dropped down. Buffalo and Chicago jumped 4 spots to get to their first overall pick. Wow, that's amazing. All right, so then we can sim to the draft and see what happens next. So then you can go to the draft, and it is pretty much very intuitive. Chicago's going to pick their first player. And then you can see who's going to be on the prospect board. You've got first overall Connor Bedard, Mishkov, and so on and so forth. Let's see how Bedard did. You can take a look at his stats now that he's been scouted. He's got we don't know about his motivation yet because we haven't seen his scouting for that. His draft rank has always been first. It dropped a little bit in November. He put up 134 points in his last season. All right, so you can sim the entire draft or sim to user. Chicago's probably going to pick Bedard. It'd be kind of weird if he didn't. You can see players who jumped spots. As you can see, Michkov jumped 3 spots. He's now second, or ranked to be picked second. And then we're going to sim to our pick here, so we can go and take a look at who's available for us. We've got this guy named Bakos, who has been, wow, he did surprisingly well for a right winger. You can go ahead and just click on him and draft him, and there you go. He's an elite right winger, 70 overall. Good pick, Montreal. And then you can go through each draft and see who's been drafted and who you have drafted and where your next picks are. And last but not least, contracts and free agency. We've got Caulfield here who wants to be re-signed. He's interested in a 2-year contract, but we want to lock him up for 8 years because he's going to be a big player in the future. You can always type in the number or move the slider if you'd like. So let's say we want to give Caulfield 8.75. He's very interested in that. Or you could just dip it down a little bit. I don't know why EA NHL hasn't given us a damn slider for this, because you can't do that. You know in FIFA where you can just like give a certain player a certain number by putting in the number manually in their salary? EA NHL hasn't done that. So Caulfield did accept our contract at 8x8, which is great. You can do more. You can just take a look at more contract and see where you're at in terms of your team, and all is good. And free agency is more or less the exact same. You just sort of pick a player that you want, and then you see how much you want to give them, and then you see if they're interested or not, and you go off of that, and then you restart your season. And my favorite thing about this game has to be the fact that it's an iOS app, and you can just play it wherever you want, however you want, and just any time of day. So it's great. You don't have to be connected to your Xbox anymore, or even a PC. Just play this on your phone. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you're interested in it. If you are, make sure to let me know, because it'd be really cool to see how you guys are enjoying it. All right. Have a good one. Goodbye.